Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to season 3 of Fire Shrike. The episode's title is Shattered, and we're going to start off with a wide shot of a ship that is kind of like flying, and we see it sort of flying towards this planet. Maybe it's like a shuttlecraft. We hear like a little bit of radio communication back and forth of just the sort of chatter you'd normally hear about, like make sure observe radio, or make sure check-ins in every 30 minutes. Will do. We're out. And as we go down, like we get a little bit closer, we see the shuttle kind of follow, going down to the planet, and we follow it down from, maybe the camera angle is behind, the camera shots behind the shuttle as it drops down, and we see that there is a complex on the that there is a complex of some sort. It looks relatively abandoned, uh, and we kind of like see the shuttle landing, and then we do like a jump cut over to the inside of some sort of building. It looks like some sort of laboratory, maybe, and we see flashlights down the hallway, like camera shots looking down the hallway. We see flashlights coming in the direction, and maybe we see just a shadow flash by the lights for a quick second, and we get to a second. I need to find something here. No, that's not where I need to be. Sorry about this. Because my game has been, we get, and maybe we get on the radio chatter. We get Captain Missile checking in. All units, check in. Corporal Knox checking in. Corporal Saves checking in. And then, like in turn, we get like, just sort of like these helmeted figures in like sort of tactical light armor, and they've got like these bird-like wings with like black feathers and black and gray feathers on them. And we go to like, and we go like, we're flipping between like from the captain to these other corporals and whatnot, and we flip over to a third corporal, or a fourth corporal in the mix. Well, I guess we missed one. Was yeah, Colonel Docs, or Corporal Docs checking in, and we go to the fourth. And why don't we get a description of this fourth winged person here, Mr. Brian?
Yes, well, the fourth winged individual is roughly about, I'd say, 6 feet inside her battle armor, and she's prepping a very large, heavy weapon, like she's loading in almost the size of 20 millimeter shells into the thing. And while she's doing that, she has a huge glaive just sort of resting against the wall near her. And she just looks at the captain and sort of just nods acknowledgement that, yeah, I'm getting ready.
Okay, yeah. And you're here because you've been kind of looking for a place. Your people have been on the run for a minute, and having come from a pretty isolated system, you don't know much, and you kind of found this place. You thought maybe it might be a place to hole up for a while, but they sent you guys down as the forward team to check the place out. And as you're kind of like the captain like signals to you to move out, to move forward. And once again, we see maybe a flash of shadow like go across the screen from the background. So, Jesus.
Just ignore it and focus on your.
Yeah, I'm like, holy
over
shit.
Here. APC
Holy
over
shit,
here.
there's a lot going on over there.
Do your
But
stuff.
yeah, winged warrior. Are you gonna move out here? Or what's your Actually, first give me a perception check. Let's do that.
Who are you talking to?
Our winged
Okay,
individual.
I just didn't miss if I missed my cue.
No.
Mark person.
Which one?
The one that actually says question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question
They
mark.
both do.
Yeah.
Parentheses.
Oh, that would be
Parentheses.
Shaba.
Brian C.
Brian.
So
So he's calling him Shaba.
you notice the movement that apparently the captain has missed, and your teammates. There seems to be somebody here. Maybe you hear just the you were the first to hear like maybe the scuffle of what sounds more like a boot than than like an animal or something. Maybe you see just the shadow of movement. How do you respond here?
I sort of signal for the others to stop and be quiet. And I unholster my one weapon and get ready to fire in case I have to.
Mystery person, you were aware that a shuttle was incoming and that there would be people landing here. You don't know who they are and you don't know what their intentions are,
Right.
but they appear armed and they appear to be they appear to be armed, but they don't appear to be here because they necessarily. It's kind of hard to determine what they're doing here, but they are armed. They're expecting some kind of trouble. One of them apparently seems to hear or notice something you did, and like signals for the others to hush and be quiet. Are you going to continue skulking? Are you going to come out and confront them? How are you going to handle this?
So, like, I kind of like being back in the shadows, but I almost want to. Okay, so I'll take a few steps forward, but I'm not going to say anything.
All right. So, winged warrior, you there is a person that steps out of the shadows, or
Yeah.
just forward out of the shadows. Okay. So describe this person as what does this mystery person look like here?
So, it's very covered up. Like, all you can see is possibly her hands and then the band of where her eyes are, because her head is got a hood hanging over it, and the mask covers just to the bridge of her nose.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got a really long coat on that's buttoned all the way up, like a trench coat.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't make a sound. It's like you can't even hear her walking up.
All right. Yeah. How do you react to this winged warrior?
I raise up my weapon and wait to see what the squad leader does.
I think the captain probably I think Captain Masal is kind of, he turns around as soon as you know, when you kind of like sees you looking over there, kind of turns around and looks, and he goes, and he lowers his weapon and points it at the mystery person. He says he's like, hold it right there, identify yourself.
So I just do that.
Yeah, you just sigh.
That's it. I'll deal with this.
I think he kind of like makes a signal for like the for his squad to kind of surround you.
Drea,
what are you doing here? We thought this place was abandoned. We didn't pick up any life readings here.
I'm not from here.
He says, I would imagine maybe. Then what are you doing here?
I got your tongue.
Yeah, he's like, we were. He totally is like, we weren't exactly expecting to find anyone here. Who are you aligned with? Are you with the Tabori Are you with the Tabori Union?
I am with no one.
You're with no one. Then you're not with the Hell Knights. You're not with Vitari Tech.
I am with no one.
Any kind of? Are there any more of you around here?
I've not seen anyone.
He kind of. He's like. He looks around. And he's like. I think probably he kind of takes a moment, but takes it in. He looks over at you. He says, "Corporal." He looks over at you, Lyson, and says, "Corporal, what do you think?"
Didn't notice anything extra on scanners. You might be telling the truth.
Says, he's he's like, yeah. He goes, he's like, guard this person. It's like, you and what is? Sorry, I keep having to run back to this. You and Cervais keep an eye on this one. We're gonna take a look around here. It says, if you wouldn't mind, you'll be our guest for the time being. We're gonna verify whether or not there's anyone else here. And he kind of goes and decides to, he points to a direction. He's like, let's see if we can find anything further down this way. I think Captain Cervais is not happy with getting stuck with a guard detail. He's like, shit. Like I wanted to go check more of this place out. I thought guard duty.
Oh, it's a lot better than being shot up by Hell Knights, isn't it?
Well, probably, yeah. Yeah, but I still want to give those bastards a what for what they did back at the colony. It's like there's no.
Yeah. Don't we all? Don't worry, we'll get our time.
And he kind of looks at you, Drea, and he's like, you ain't got any weapons on you. Drop any weapons you might have. He's like, which is kind of funny because Captain Marcel must have really been put off guard because he didn't ask for her weapons. And it's like, how do you respond, Drea?
She sighs a lot.
Yeah, she just sighs.
That's
She's
just
like,
her main go-to. She's like
she
she's
don't,
irritated at everything.
she don't
I
talk
see we're
much.
having a strong departure from Ashira's demeanor.
We're just kind
Is
of.
it really?
Like,
That was sarcasm.
I was so confused.
Yeah, he kind of looks over at you, Lyson, and says, she don't talk much, does she?
Since no one really knows me here, I imagine he wouldn't have an answer to that.
Well, it's a couple of minutes if you like. Cervais tries to make conversation a couple of times with either of you, but since you're both sort of like stone-faced, he eventually just sort of okay, go ahead.
Like I probably the stone faces are actually a good example.
Yeah.
And not so much the sign, but kind of like I'm put off by I don't know anyone here.
Right.
So I'm not sure also how to respond, but I feel like I'd be cautious about it at the same time.
Right.
It's not that I don't talk; it's just you gotta.
There's
talking.
After a while, the captain comes back and he says, I don't know. The place is obviously. I don't know what to make of some of this tech. It's a little beyond me. I'm not sure what's going on here. And that's about the time it crackles over the radio that there's a communication from the mothership. We've detected Hell Knights inbound. Captain, we need you and your squad to return to the ship. We got to get out of here. We're outgunned.
Ah, crap.
And the captain turns around and looks at you and he says, You want to stay and take your chances with the Hell Knights, or you want to come with us? Because I'm good either way.
Whatever.
And he's like, then I suggest we move, and he starts running in the direction of where you guys have your shuttle landed. You guys follow suit?
Yep, I take up rear guard position.
All right.
Plucks a feather. No, I'm just kidding. Starting shit already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
There we
pluck a
go.
feather, hey?
I'm excited we have Daria on the crew.
Daria does not live here.
So, yeah, you guys head to the shuttle, and maybe we get like the scene of you guys running through this facility back to the shuttle and getting on board, and whoever's flying, throwing all the switches and everything as you take off back to the mothership. And I want to jump away here, and I want to catch up with Sluff. Sluff. It has been 6 months since the destruction of the Shadow of Ever.
Gee.
You have not been able to find any reliable leads on where to catch up with Fire Shrike or any of the crew. You don't know. You don't know where anybody is. You hear rumors from time to time about the Fire Shrike or the Spitfire appearing in places and doing things.
Right.
And you hear rumors of Captain Zai being around and Ashira and Shaba, but that's just kind of like the thing you would expect. Like, you guys are so well known, half the time when you follow up on a lead, it's a cold lead. It's either cold or it's just somebody thought they saw somebody that vaguely resembles one of the crew members or what have you. Because this part of space is sort of like,
softened. It was Captain Zai.
well, it was, yeah, exactly. It was, yeah. But yeah, it's been frustrating, and you're currently on the Ever,
Right.
a large capital
Wait,
ship.
I'm on the Ever.
Yes,
Great.
the Ever is apparently the secret capital ship of Dr. Talot. It's where he where he brought you to with his crew of mercenaries and stuff. And it's a if the Shadow of Ever was impressive, this is very, very impressive.
Oh, great.
And it also seems to have some sort of well beyond legal and well beyond what he should have as far as being able to say stealth in electronic countermeasures and stuff for a ship this size. You have had access to some of the best labs you have ever seen in the interim, and you've even been allowed to keep up on some of trying to follow down some of your leads, but you've come up with very little, and you've come back to you've always had the Ever to come back to.
Right.
You did once try to go back to where the planet you guys had Captain Zai had found, but for some reason the Hell Knights seem to have put a fallback position base in that system. You were detected almost as soon as you entered the system and had to leave, even though you had a decent crew of mercenaries at your back that the doctor had provided. It wasn't going to be enough.
Right.
What do we find Slef doing here in this in the Ever? Like, what does he do?
Slef, first of all, has been doing a lot of janitorial work and kind of burying himself in his physical science as well. He leveled up, so I've allocated some points. I still need to allocate the other stuff from the book because I was the big dummy and didn't level up. But whatever the case, yeah, he's been burying himself in his three simple passions. He's been burying himself in manufacturing anytime someone needs something manufactured, doing physical science research on time-space anomalies, and cleaning everything. When he has chances, he tries to leave the ship as often as possible because he hates being cooped up. It's like his least favorite thing. And his friends are like all like gone. Like he doesn't have any friends here. He also does not talk to. He's not talked to the professor unless he absolutely has to.
All right.
So probably right now he's like in the canteen, like cleaning a couple tables and nursing a beer as he does so, looking back every once in a while to see Bucket, but Bucket's not there. You know,
right.
he hasn't rebuilt it, not out of function, but out of solidarity.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Yeah. So we're looking at you're cleaning the tables, and you hear like a number of you hear like the mercenaries passing through and whatnot and talking. Sabea and Round made it to the Ever.
Great.
You actually have heard something very interesting. And you can't determine if this is more of that somebody is just so famous that their name gets taken for whatever or not. But you have heard a couple of interesting bits. You have heard that Rex Tolak has been alive, has seen alive and active. But you've also heard that, and you've also seen Ezalee Soroval's face pop up everywhere. There's he's notoriously difficult to track down at this point for various reasons, but like the people, all of the colonists have sort of taken to him as a folk hero.
Yeah.
And like, what's the song off of your last album that was all political that they've taken up as like sort of their anthem? These common people.
It's just called Oblivion.
Oblivion. Yeah. So they've taken up this song Oblivion, and maybe you hear like one of the like the mercenaries kind of singing it under his breath as he walks in, and one of the other mercenaries like elbows him and is like, "Hey, stop that!" You are well aware of the political situation, though.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The Hell Knights have pretty much declared open war on Vitari Tech. Mastodon and Vitari Tech are at odds. Hell Knights are at war with Vitari Tech, their mercenaries and forces throughout the sector. And the Tabori Union has also, trying to expand beyond the Tabori cluster, has also sort of like been engaged in a lot of fights. And because the Tabori Union is the weird oddball out, because since there's such an underground, or there's so much of like underground freedom fighter movement tied to it, that it's hard to tell exactly what their numbers are. Like the stated people, the stated worlds and colonies that are absolutely, everyone knows are signed to charter, would have been outnumbered and outgunned. But the problem is there are all these independent colonies that like the doctor suspects have been giving a certain amount of shelter out of solidarity, and it's kind of hard to figure out what their true numbers are, who's just providing a little cover, who's actually a part of the network, who's truly as independent as they think they are. And the doctor has gotten quite has been getting quite frustrated. Bettina Clemlin is still in operation, but she works for Mastodon Mining, and you haven't been able to. I'm assuming you haven't had a reason to open any communication with her at this point.
No, the second that anybody from my past, who is even slightly adversarial, comes into earshot with Slap, he's more than likely either going to leave immediately because this isn't a conversation he wants to have, or he's going to go on a slight tirade about how terrible they are. This includes the professor, by the way. Like, people mentioning the professor on the Shadow of Ever, he'll try and set them in the right place, and he doesn't give a fuck if the professor is like, hey, don't do that. Like, he's openly adversarial with him.
All right. And I think, where is it? And I think this is a point where you actually get a call from the professor, from Dr. Tallet. He comes out like you get your communicator buzzes or rings or whatever your ringtone is, and you see
Yeah,
that
it's
it's the
just a
doctor.
buzz.
Yeah, it's just a buzz.
Yeah, I answer it. I'm like, what do you want?
Well, it seems that our talks with Governor Tobin Bilton have not produced the fruits that we are looking for. But there are rumors that there might be because of his status, there are rumors that people there might be providing some sort of cover for the Spitfire and the Fire Shrike. I would suggest that if you are still looking for your friends, we are sending a diplomatic ship in that direction in a couple of days if you wish to go on another exploratory bout of mission.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Oh, good.
do you have the explosives that we are going to use for the Team 6 completed yet?
He says, I'm a fucking professional. Of course I have the explosives ready. Do you have any other stupid questions? Or can I go on that ship now?
He says, he kind of chuckles. He says, I get that you are bitter, but I do appreciate your professionalism, and I wouldn't worry so much, but Team 6 was worried about it. They're going into a section with some, well, let's just say it's better that it remains a dark operation.
Don't worry, they're getting the latest and greatest. Hellfire technology, able to put out 1 megaton if held in a 5-pound batch. They're going to be fairly substantial and good enough for what they need. Plus, they're going to be able to... Plus, I've manufactured enough that they can deal with just about any small country they need to. So, they're fine.
And one last thing. We have an operative in Pluvo, where you are going. That well, let's just say we're suspicious he may have let sensitive information leak. While you are there, you would be well compensated if you would take care of this, investigate, find out if he is leaking information, and we will give you the kill codes for the kill switch. If you find he has been leaking information, you know what to do.
Wait,
What kind of compensation are we talking?
Well, we are talking about a few thousand credits.
Few thousand? And he looks at his bank account, and also known as I'm looking at my bank account.
Yeah.
He goes, few thousand credits and access to a skiff so I can head out around, or access to a small single pilot ship. That'll do it for me.
He says, I will see what I can do. He says, I wish you good hunting. And he kind of like terminates the transmission. And you hear like somebody has turned on the television in the mess hall area, one of the mercenaries, the one that was maybe like singing Oblivion under his breath or whatever, turns it on. And there is a broadcast that he's like, let's see what the latest news broadcasts to make our way here have gotten to. There's a broadcast of that starts off with Captain Cervantic Cordrum.
I spit like on the ground and then clean it up as soon as I see Cervantic Cordrum. I'm just like, that motherfucker.
And he has, and he very clearly and succinctly starts off talking about the things you would expect, like and as more colony worlds have come to know the peace and quiet of order, we're still trying to, he says, we are going to bring safety to this system, law and order.
You want to shut that shit off?
And he's like, but you catch something in the background. He's like, we are of course still looking for the renegades left over from the Fire Shrike. He says there is, and he points. He kind of steps to the side and points to what you thought you saw, and there, cryogenically frozen is the body of Ashira.
So
The
that
Fire
like
Shrike
leans
is
back.
yeah.
Oh.
He's
And
like
he moves closer to the TV and goes, "Forget what I said about shutting that shit off."
yeah. He says, and Cervantic continues with Captain Cordrum. We have already dealt them a great blow. We have already brought justice to the elven renegade Ashira. We are still looking for the captain, Captain Volvetto. We believe the coward has. Oh God, why am I slipping back into the doctor here?
He turned
Yeah.
German.
I did.
Right.
He's gone evil.
Well, he was already evil.
Run!
Let me start that one over. He says, "We have,
You need a
we
prick,
have,
not a professor.
we've already brought the outlaw Shira to justice. That coward Captain Volvetto continues to hide from us. We're fairly certain several members of the Fire Shrike were killed in the destruction of the Shadow of Ever."
Visible snarl.
He's like, he says, if anyone has information on the Fire Shrike or its crew, make sure that you contact your nearest Hell Knight your nearest Hell Knight outpost. You will be well rewarded.
Does anybody look like they're perking up at that?
Not really. He's like, they all kind of have this attitude of like the one that was that was like singing the song under his breath is just kind of like, good fucking luck with that. And he's like,
when he says that, actually, I turn to him, I go, "Are you gonna fucking underestimate some of the most dangerous people in this area? Because it sounds like you're fucking underestimating. And you know what underestimating does? That fucking murders people. So how about you shut your fucking mouth and take a threat seriously?"
he kind of looks at you. He kind of looks at you and he goes, for a minute, he goes, he looks stunned for a minute, and his partner goes, "Yeah, I don't think you want to pick that fight. The doctor has a particular interest in this one. Besides, this is one of those people that they haven't caught yet." He says,
and
with
Sleth is
good
just,
reason.
yeah, Sleth is just staring at the TV at this point. Like, he's
Yeah.
got, like, a real hard scowl on his face.
Yeah, awesome. And I think we cut away from that. Like we focus in on the TV and the report, and we come back and we see the bridge of the Fire Shrike, and there are 3 people present in this room: Nahir, Nurks, and Tavis. And Nurks at this point, like as we draw back from the picture of the TV, we like before we draw back, we see like what looks like a cup of some sort of liquid smash into the corner of the vid screen, causing cracks to form upon the glass and whatnot. And she turns around and looks at Nahir. We peel back to see Nurks, and she turns around and looks right at Nahir, and she goes, "You see that? You see what the fuck they're doing? We're wasting all this time, all this energy, and we still haven't gone out and gotten that bastard for what he did." And Nahir looks at her and he's like, "I'm not having this argument again. I made the decision I was commanded to make and protected as much of the crew as possible." And he's like, when we pulled out of the Fire Shrike, or pulled out of the Shadow of Ever, might I remind, it was swarming with Hell Knights, more than we could hold back. Ezzy was half dead, and Ashira had gone down. We lost the captain, and this is Ezzy, you walk in right about the time that Nahir says, the words "Ezzy was half dead."
Oh, like
What do we see in the first?
The door
opening shot
opens
of
and he
Ezzy?
comes in. One of his feet is still the real one. The other leg's been replaced with a mechanical equivalent.
Yeah.
He's wearing different gear. It's more, utilitarian in combat than before. It's more like he's just wearing a skin suit with armor over it.
Mhm.
And obviously, like, there's no, like, there's a collar, but it doesn't go up the neck, and the front half of his neck is completely gone and been replaced with like a really rough shot mechanical equivalent. Including, like, there are lines across parts of his face that are like surgery scars from when they've had to like go in and do subdermal reconstruction and stuff. But by the time he walks in, he's got his arms clasped behind his back, and he makes this really god awful sound when he breathes, since he has really cheap what are they called, necrographs,
Mhm.
really cheap necrograph lungs and larynx, where he's just kind of like
Are you a bow rye?
He
and then he just is like, half dead isn't dead, Nahir.
he looks at you and he says, "You know damn good and well that was a tactically an unwinnable situation." He said, and him and Nurks like both look at you pretty hard. Tavis, you can read the room. This is tension that's been there for the last 6 months. You have
Yeah.
not been able to. You've not been able to like. Find the captain or Slef or Shaba, or you weren't even able to retrieve the body of Ashira. And in fact, communication as you were leaving the Shadow of Ever was so bad, and the sensors were so scrambled that it was a miracle you got out of there without getting your asses shot off. Considering the amount of like fighter ships they had in the area coming after you. But this is the like. You realize that this is an argument between Nurks and Nahir that's ongoing. It's that it just occasionally flares up, but neither of them has any new things to say about it. But neither of them is going to convince the other one to fully back down. Nahir has taken up
back down
captain position in the interim, and the situation is as thus. And as he's been put in charge of the Spitfire and been adopted as a folk hero, and but I think the two of them also have like there's been the tension on board, and I think they both look over at you as you walk in, and Nahir's eyes narrow just a tiny bit, but Nurk speaks first, and she's like, "I did sensor readings on the Spitfire when you brought it back this time. You fucked it up all over again. So, you don't have any idea how many hours of work that's going to take for repairs?"
Nurks, the more you tell me about how much you have to repair it, the more I'm going to enjoy making sure that it comes back in worse condition.
He's like, she looks over at Nahir like, back me up on this. And Nahir kind of takes his hands off of the table and turns around and says, "Ezzy, we agreed that you taking charge of the Spitfire and going on missions was supposed to provide us with enough chaos to create some cover for the strike. You draw enough attention, they'll start following you back."
He like pulls out this like it's a data stick that's got a news recording on it, and he's like, "Watch it. I'll prove that I can make chaos."
He just kind of he looks. He said, "You can make chaos, just not that much. Wasting resources on having to repair."
I bombed the most important spaceport on that planet. I left no corporate alive.
He just kind of and Travis, this is something you've noticed too. It's like as he has gotten way more anti-corporate as he's gone along, and there's this sort of weird detente between the three of them. All of them have tension, and reasons to be angry with each other. Ezzy being reckless with the Spitfire, the Nurks being angry about like losing Ashira, and Nahir trying to hold the whole thing together. And he looks over at you, Tavis, and he says, at least someone brought me good news. And he says, Tavis here worked it out with Bettina. We haven't been able to go after the grit puller, but he says but Tavis here smoothed things over with Bettina. We've got some time on that one. She understands what happened.
I nod.
It's like, he's like, well, did you face any difficulties there? I get that she's not going to provide cover for us. She can't provide cover for us right now, but were there any unexpected problems getting in and out?
I don't know. Was there?
Yeah, go ahead and make something up. Were there problems?
Do we have like a separate small shuttle that I take?
I think
Or-
maybe like they either drop you off somewhere to take a rented shuttle to go somewhere at like Book
Okay.
Passage, or maybe as he drops you off some places and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's like,
I just kind of look at him and I'm like, not much trouble getting there. However, Bettina is ruthless, but she does understand our situation.
he nods and he says, "This is a spider in its web."
Exactly.
And Tavish, you're well aware that like Nahir is glossing over certain things because he's wanting to get back to searching for Captain Volvetto, and he's become less and less interested in the day-to-day business as time has gone on. Fairly obsessive, and he kind of turns around and looks at Nurx. He goes, "Any word on the captain?" Nurx just kind of looks at him and is like, "Well, yeah, the captain. She's like, the last 3 leads I came across were false alarms. Nothing solid, can't get a grip on. So there's a, but I have come across something real interesting. Seems like there's reports that Rex Tolak is back around and active. Some of the reports are actually pretty reliable."
That does beg the question of what happened to the one that me and Sleph operated on.
I don't know. My understanding was that he was dead.
Ghosts don't come back so quickly, and definitely not so squishy.
Kind of my thoughts too. Maybe something we should look into.
I can look into it if it's necessary. We can risk having the Shrike falling into enemy hands.
Nope, sure as hell can't. My guess is that probably. She looks over at you, Tavis. She's like, "You still got that Tiefling's number, Isig, or whatever his name is?"
I nod. Of course.
Would you mind talking to him and see if he's heard it? If he can substantiate any of this?
I will see what I can do.
It's like, Nahir probably looks around and says, "It's like, last I heard, Isig was back in Pluvo again."
Should that be our target then, to go to Bluevo?
I at least want Tavis to go there to talk to his contact. He said, "Tavis, this is ostensibly your mission. You pick who you want to go with you on this. But keep it minimal. We don't want to draw too much attention."
I nod and I'm like, I believe all I shall need is Qualu and Ezzy.
So
An interesting choice. Not that I disagree.
he's
Well, I need a pilot.
he's like, well, Qualu can pilot too, but
Oh, I'm a very good pilot.
I picked
But
Ezzy
so
because-
is
Make a very good pirate. Make a very good pirate.
I mainly picked Ezzy because he's the captain of the Spitfire.
right,
So
I
he's-
get you.
I have a bonus
Yeah.
of 12 to piloting.
He says, "You might are you?" And here's another thing. Like, you weren't able to find your compeer that you had gotten word from, but you did find Rogo, like your compeer from Castroval,
right.
Queltival.
Yeah.
You weren't able to find him, but you you did get a hold of Rogo, and Rogo has been with the Fire Shrike ever since.
Yeah,
He's
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I say Rogo too.
yeah, you're gonna take
that,
her.
that man meat.
Yeah, he Nahir nods and he goes, he says, see if Isig has any information on Captain Volvetto. See what you can find out about. See what you can find out about him, and see what you can find out about Slef. There's still and Shaba. Well,
I
anyone
hate to
that's missing.
say it, Nahir, but I'm sure that if we haven't found anything on them by now, that they went down with the shadow.
I looked at Ezim.
Yeah, go ahead.
I looked at Ezim like, people have not found us either. We did not go down with the shadow.
One fewer would have had I been allowed to do as I pleased.
Nurk shoots a dirty look to Nahir, and he looks over at he looks back at Nurks, and it's that point where where it's like there's enough been said on this at this point. He looks back at you and gives you that same kind of look, like he's not subtle about this shit.
I just look at him blankly with these half-dead eyes.
See if you can find us another legit job. Keep fueling our tanks and food in our bellies for a little bit longer.
Of course.
So long as there's 2 people left in the world, someone will want somebody dead.
He kind of he nods. He nods and kind of dismisses you all. And it's like, or actually, he takes his leave. He's like, if you don't mind, I have some files to go through, and he heads back to his room, which has kind of become a de facto secondary security and information office too.
Oh. I'll say Melanie is probably right outside the what room are we in? Holy crap!
The bridge.
The bridge. Thank you. She's right outside the bridge, like waiting.
She's Wesley Crusher. Come on.
I totally set her up there. I was either gonna send her in after we were done to try to like distract Nahir a bit, like hey, or have her like catch him. She's been my go-to, like go in there. He might calm down a bit with you around. You're a young child. Go.
Yeah, I think when he comes out, he kind of looks at Melanie, and who's kind of standing there, and she looks at him like she's about to start a conversation, but he looks at her and he says, "Training." He says, "Training's not for another couple of hours, and I'm gonna have you." He says, "And before Qualu leaves the ship, I'll have him handle your training today. I have business to attend to."
Oh.
And Melanie we see as he goes to leave, we see Melanie looks a little disappointed. She's like, oh,
Yeah. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
How long until we'll be ready to leave, Nurks?
she says, it's gonna give me a few hours. I gotta call Whistle Fizz and help me with these repairs. It'd take way longer to just do it myself. And she kind of goes to
As she starts to leave, I'm like, Nurks,
what?
despite it all, I appreciate your help.
She's like, she looks at you for a minute and gives you this look like, yeah, and then she gives you a look like, yeah, and then kind of goes, well, we're not dead yet. And she goes,
Some of us are just closer than others.
and yeah, and so to Tavis as she walks out, she goes, "He's obsessing again," and walks out to go take care of business. Tavis, you and Ezzy are in now by yourselves, and you saw that like Tavish, you were in the room to see the transmission where, like, Captain Cervantic Cordrum was showing off Ashira's body and talking about, like, bringing the Fire Shrike to justice and calling Captain Volvetto a coward and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I just kind of looked to Ezzy and I'm like, we should probably check all your implants before we go.
Of course. I think my lungs are filling with fluid again.
That's our headed towards the medical bay.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I start
Uh,
walking with you, this kind of weird, like, normal step, and then a cheep, cheep. And like, have you checked on Vitari Tech stocks recently? I want to know if the assault on the ore refinery did anything lasting.
I just like tap a couple things on my little calm that wrist watch thing. And just pulls it right up. I was already prepared.
Yeah. The latest news, like, they don't have news from like the mission you just got back from because it's too quick in the news cycle for that. But like maybe the last couple of like Sanjakar Powell, who is one of the leaders of Tabora Union, issued a statement that decrying your extremist actions, but at the same time, and Vitari Tech stocks took a small hit, but it's been played off. It's being played off. Like you can tell, like from the footage you're getting, that there is some rough polish going on as to making it sound like less of a big deal than as it actually was. To kind of be like, hey, yeah, this thing happened, but it's under control. We got it. We got it covered. It's fine.
Yeah, as he just like clenches his fist when he looks at the whole Tabor Union decrying him thing, it's like, cowards can't do anything for themselves. Ingrates.
There's there is a but however, Tavis, you would know that because you've been paying attention to what Ezzy's doing, that the metrics are up as far as like resistance movement. Like there are more resistance cells and more resistance, independents that are giving the corporations a hard time. And it's being played in the Pact World's media because it's outside of the Pact World's jurisdiction. It's being played out as basically two corporations jockeying for control to some extent, but a lot of it is also being played off as a lot of it's also being played off as this Tabora Union. They're trying to connect your actions to the Tabora Union in the Pact World to make them look worse. And you're fairly certain that how long has it been since you've sent a message off to Castrovel to report anything, and what did you report?
Oof. I probably stopped after the shadow, because going dark was probably the best option right now. So yeah, it'd been about 6 months ago.
All right, yeah. So you haven't, yeah. They without any word from you. You've also started hearing about more of your compeers going missing. So it's fairly confusing. And of course, the Blood of Creation are taking full advantage of the chaos in the area. And Fire Shrike, you too, and Spitfire, you also have tried at one time to return to to the planet that you guys found, and only to find that the Hell Knights had set up a fallback base in the system, and you were also chased out of the system fairly quickly. So you haven't been able to get back there. You did send that Nahir had sent a message off to the people that Melanie had come from, but she doesn't want to go back. Like she has refused to leave. She wants to stick around.
Yeah, because she's part of the crew.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're well aware
Sorry,
of. Yeah, you're well aware of. And I think we kind of jump cut here. Well, as like right before we do the jump cut, we see a gnome walk by you, Ezzy and Tavis. It's Whistle Fizz, and he's one of the you without Slef. You were without the rest of the crew. You guys were short-handed. Rogos helped fill some of the void, but you also picked up an engineer, or you also picked up a couple of engineers. One of which is the gnome Whistle Fizz. But he's actually kind of good at a lot of things. And Whistle Fizz, he fills a lot of the role that Nurx used to fill because, Nahir now uses her as the sort of like intelligence officer like Shabo was. But the...
I'm sorry, thinking about a goblin intelligence person is just...
well,
it hurts my Dungeons and Dragons orientated mind.
Well, it's...
Right?
It's an often forgotten fact that she's as capable a hacker and engineer as anybody else from the old Fire Shrike crew. She liked letting everybody else do a lot of those duties most of the time. Yeah, she was like, nope, my department is flying. I like to fly. I'm gonna fly. Which she still does, but like as far as like external to that, Nahir is like, you are now in charge of our cybersecurity and information network. And Tavis, he's used you as the face of the Fire Shrike because, well, you can actually go places they can't and make deals that they can't. You've been able to secure enough odd jobs to keep the ships flying. So he's leaned on you quite a bit for a lot of that stuff. And I think as we see Whistle Fizz walk by. They walk by you guys, Tavis and Ezzy. We jump cut back to the inside of the Strix shuttle, with our winged warrior Lysing and our mystery woman Drea, and company, and you guys are the ship that you came from. You were separated from. There was a squadron of Hell Knight fighters and a destroyer, and you guys got separated. And in the resulting combat, and maybe we get this in like sort of like cutscene, as like a number of fighters are chasing you out. Shooting, and you're evasive maneuvering until you can hit drive and get out of there. Manage to hide long enough and then get out. We do see that they cripple your engines a little bit, and when you come out of drift space, the ship is kind of leaking fuel everywhere, and the ship is leaking fuel everywhere, and you've got to find your way to someplace safe to land. But Captain LaSalle is like, he looks around and he's like, anybody want to? He's like, he looks over to the computer sensors. He's like, we need a place to lay low. Where are we laying low? Where he says somebody get on the sensor, find us a place. And he's kind of like assessing the damage.
The sentence is like, nope, not me. I don't use those things.
Yeah, I think Corporal Doxa goes over to the computer panel and starts trying to call something up, and the panel kind of like short circuits on him, and he gets shocked. He gets shocked and his hands are a little black, and he's like, the damn thing is, it's fried. I knew we should have brought a mission specialist. And What are you? What are the Mystine and Drea while this is going on?
I'm just kind of standing there with my arms crossed, just shaking my head.
You just
I just look at the mystery woman like, do you think you can do better? Have at it.
yeah. Give me an engineering roll because I want to see what you can glean just from looking at it, Drea.
Okay. Thank you. I was gonna ask, are you talking about me or Brian?
Yeah, yeah.
That was my next question. I was like, wait, me?
Drea, yeah. Let's.
Freya.
Oh, what?
You can tell very easily this is that thing's shorted out because of that thing. You know exactly what the problem is. They overloaded like at least 3 subjunctures in and a couple of different power relays. Clearly the console had taken the system had taken some damage, and this guy was not sharp enough to figure it out before he started trying to punch around on the computer. You can tell it shouldn't be too hard of a fix.
Okay. So, yay, my low roll did something?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can tell
I was
exactly
like,
what it
I
is.
rolled a 4.
Yeah. But you still got a 17 off that. So let's what is are you going to attempt to fix it, or are you just going to be like, yeah, you fucked this up and this up? Or are you going to say anything at all?
Hold on, my stream's live, but they can't see it.
Oh,
I
that's
can see
no
your
bueno.
stream. I can
Is
see
it-
your stream.
Is it
It's
back?
fine.
It's fine. Okay, sorry.
It's fine.
We're
I'm sorry.
Gucci.
What did you
Yeah.
ask me, Jesta?
Yeah, you can tell exactly what's wrong with this console and whatnot. Are you going to tell them what's wrong? Are you going to try to fix it? Are you going to just say nothing at all and scoff at their incompetence?
I mean, I don't know them, and
Yeah.
as we've seen, I've been
Oh,
pretty
that's a-
standoffish.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I'm probably gonna make one of those shoe gestures. Like, you go ahead.
Okay, yeah. This guy doesn't really know engineering.
I mean, unless they ask me, you know.
Plus, yeah, he's not very good at this.
Oh yeah, golf
He
class.
manages to get yeah. I think it's fuck. It's Corporal Knox that manages to get it to working again. He goes, "There's a we're pretty close to the Aramol system. We could probably make fall on Glumpucket. We or at least that's what there's a colony named Glumpucket on at least that's what it's listed as. Aramol. It looks like it's Mastodon Mining Corporation territory.
Yeah, that means Hell Knights might be around.
I don't think we can get too much further. What do you think?" And the captain's like, "I don't know. It could be dangerous landing there, but can we limp it to anywhere else? If we can't limp the shuttle anywhere else, I don't know that we have much choice. What do you think, Lysan?"
They hit us pretty bad. We could get stuff there to repair. I'd say let's land, but land outside of the colony, where we can at least try to hide the shuttle a bit.
Good idea. Probably only a couple of people go in town for parts and stuff. Preferably with as much disguise as possible. Says, I'm Lyson, I'm gonna put you in charge of getting getting supplies. You can take somebody with you if you want. We'll get started on doing what we can around here. It's gonna take a minute. And Corporal Knox is like, yeah, it's gonna take more than a little bit of time, and more than a few parts. Just looking at what's going on here. We're not. We weren't expecting all of that.
Well, we'll get what we can. Do what we can. That's what we've always done.
And yeah, and I think we go. And maybe this is where you guys catch the like the broadcast, like when you get within range of Glumpucket anyway, you get the broadcast of Captain Cervantic Cordrum showing off the body of one of the nefarious pirates of the Fire Shrike. You had never heard of them before you were when you were just in your colony, but once you were forced out of your colony, you've heard a lot of rumors about them. But definitely they're showing off the body of Ashira and talking about bringing the coward Captain Zyval Veto to justice and bringing the crew of the Fire Shrike to justice and whatnot.
Just the look of him seeing him on the screens enough to make Lazai like start gripping the hand grip of her weapon, just like, if I could only shoot this through the monitor straight at your head.
Yeah. And it's obviously that kind of propaganda that like the military leaders will send out. Haha, we fucked up people you thought couldn't be fucked up. Now surrender, because we're going to fuck you up even more. We're going to get all the rest of these scamps and we're going to drive you all out. But yeah, and he has a reputation as being a bit of a racist, but it's weird and it's spotty. He's racist against different peoples, but not all peoples. Like it's rumored. It's kind of hard to tell exactly. But he seems to take great relish in showing off this Ashira's cryogenically frozen dead body.
Honestly,
pickle
that's
relish?
good for us.
Like pickle.
Boo.
Stupid Jim.
Anyway,
Get off the stage.
All right, but this gets Ashira's parents on our side, and that's good.
We need them involved in here. Okay.
Right.
I'm rolling over in my grave right now.
Well, you're kind of frozen in a.
God damn it! I'll roll when I'm thaw out.
Listen, Han, just shut up.
Yeah, and you like maybe your captain is like, you know what? He says, kind of a shame what they did to them. I heard they were actually not as bad as they say in the Pact worlds. Guess it depends on where you're at. Yes, some of the people I talked to even thought of him pretty highly of him. And he looks over at and he says, "Here, watch this, will you?" And he pops in a video. Or he clicks over to a video file, and he's like, and it's
a Fire Shrike training video.
It's a Fire Shrike training.
Don't be a slap.
Don't be a slap. No, actually, it's propaganda. It's propaganda from Tabori United, and it's Ezelai's face. And what is Ezzy's propaganda saying here? Like, what is this propaganda that he released that is kind of out there?
So it kind of is this weird thing where it almost looks like it's the video feed is constantly trying to glitch out between Ezzy's faces and various other like corporate entities and mascots and things like that, but they're all like warped into this weird kind of parodic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of using their own things against them. And it's like people and it's like compared to how we heard him talk earlier, it's very clear and stuff like it's like, people of Tabori united. The corporations would bleed you dry. They would steal your children. They would steal the lifeblood of the worlds that you have tamed. Who is it that goes down into those mines? Who is it that brings up the sweat of their brow? You. Who is it that profits from it? Who is it that gives it to worlds you have never seen, to people you have never heard of, to governments who do not care for you? It is them. The time is now. They will send Hell Knights. They will send mercenaries. They will send anything to put you down. But you, my dreamers, my Tabori United, you're stronger than that. Show them.
Awesome. Yeah, maybe he clicks the video file off and he's like, and he's like, and you like when he does so, Drea, you notice like he's been watching you for a reaction to this because he still hasn't figured you out. You haven't offered him any. He's trying to figure out where you. It's pretty clear he's trying to figure out where you stand here.
I mean, I'm pretty much a loner at this point for now, anyway.
Yeah. So he looks at you and he kind of shakes his. Looks over at Corporal Knox and he kind of shakes his and he kind of shrugs like I don't know. And there is something very strange that you catch right at the like he flips the video file off and Knox is still messing around with messing around with like the sensors and stuff, and he's like, "Wait a minute, what's this?" And he plays, and there's like just a portion of an audio file. There's just a portion of like what appears to be a highly corrupted, or maybe not even an audio file, just a text file. A lot of it is corrupted. The data is corrupted. And he's like, but it literally says the codes were never meant to the codes were never meant to last this long. They didn't and there's a question mark at the there's a like one word at the end with a question mark and it says reasons question mark and that's all of the message that he's able to retrieve. And he goes, "Oh, the rest of this seems to be garbage. And I can't exactly figure it out."
Wait,
So
can I try?
Yeah, you sure can.
You need me to roll computers or what?
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a computer check. Oh, you're good. You managed to find out that the communication was it was sent from. I'm trying to find the name of that planet real quick. It was actually sent from. Well, I guess it was sent from Pluvo then. No, sorry, not Pluvo.
Oh, thought I picked it right.
Not Ludus. Where is
Lettuce!
Our planet?
Let us eat lettuce!
No. Damn it. Where's the name of the planet?
Pluvo?
No, it was sent from. I guess it was sent from Glum Pocket. It was sent from the
Which
area.
is on Pluvo, right?
No, Glum Pocket isn't. It is in the air mall system.
Oh.
Pluvo is the Allot system on planet Verno. But yeah, it seems to have been sent from Glum Pocket. and what have you. But where it was going and who it was addressed to, it was addressed to I don't know. It's kind of hard to make out who it was addressed to. It seems like it was a rather formal thing. The language is very clinical. It's very, very, very direct and clinical, uh, in the way that it's scripted up.
Okay.
So, and I kind of want to take this back to we haven't actually seen. And while everybody else is wondering whatever happened to the captain, let's actually check in on the captain. So maybe we get.
Are they working at Space Arby's?
Nope.
No, in Space Carl Juniors. Come on,
Wait,
Ash.
wait,
Done that. They got
me-
him up in the
let
They
world.
got bought out by Space Carls.
Let's set off. Let's start this off by setting up the soundtrack here. Like the soundtrack to what you're about to see is like SOB by Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats.
Oh my God.
So if you've ever heard that, you know the quality we're looking at. And Zai, why don't we get like a description of what has been going on with Zai here? We get like some montage work, right?
Yeah. I think since you and I talked about it earlier, I'm just going to do part of it. But we get a fade in, and it's a prison cell. And Zai is in prison orange. Elgas, Zai's new best friend, is on the top bunk. And the top bunk is sank down just far enough that Zai can squeeze in should he actually need to sleep at the same time. And Zai does his thing. He starts moving and shaking and making deals with people and making hooch and making everything else that you might
Awesome.
need. And lots of shaking hands with a bunch of bad people. And oh yeah, I have another friend.
Are you? Yeah, there is also somebody else in the with too.
All right.
There
So I
is.
guess I have to go a little further back. I
Yeah,
met
there is-
another guy. And he kind of looks like a snail,
only a humanoid.
the humanoid snail. He's greasy. Technically, it's slimy, but we're going with greasy. But he's a pretty good guy. He
Also,
works for.
He's blue with green patterns. He's blue and he's got blue and green patterns across him.
And he looks super awesome in a black light.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's there too, helping me out. Every once in a while, we have to rough somebody up, and it's an epic fight where Elgas holds him down, and I beat the crap out of him, and then what is his name?
Glycel.
Glycel. I'm sorry, Glycel. Then slithers across his face. That's how you know you've been Zide in prison.
He's just like, yeah, and he doesn't look happy about doing any of this. He looks just despondent. Like maybe the captain's like beating the shit out of this guy Elgas is holding down, and like he's like motions, and we
You're
see like
ruining
this
my boy. Stop
this-
making Elgas be violent.
this real this Osharo walks across and looks just despondent and just spits slime on him and just despondently walks away. Yeah, he doesn't look terribly happy. But yeah,
I pay him well. He doesn't get raped.
but yeah, and you've had this like, and yeah, because you rough people up. So we get to like this montage of like Zai maybe making some hooch, making a deal, roughing somebody up, making some drugs, making a deal with like a guard, and then roughing some more people up. And we see like one part of the montage, like all three of them are in solitary confinement in different cells. And you've been planning and making deals and waiting for this day for a very long time, but opportunity finally makes its way to you, and you've been hearing through vis-a-vis the the TV, local news, and whatnot. The last transmission you got from anybody on the Fire Shrike was the one where they told you that Ashira was dead. You also you don't know if anybody got the message you sent out with a picture of you and Elgas, because the interference was so strong by that point from all of the shit going off, all of the missiles and the electronic warfare and everything else. Kind of hard to tell if anybody got it.
Okay.
Got it. You
Just to make sure, Cordrum did get the picture of my genitals correct.
You're not entirely certain.
Oh,
All right.
for
Well,
goodness
he sent that video that was all like, "Surrender now, and I'll spare your crew, except for these 3 people."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, well, here's what Kasathan looks like."
Yeah. He.
Nice.
You're not entirely certain if he got that, but but like maybe you're in the mess hall and the television is on, and the TV is far enough away you can't see that you can't hear it particularly well over the clang of people eating and conversation, but you see very clearly that he is showing off the the frozen deceased body of Ashira and talking. Um, he's but this is the day. This is the day where where your opportunity to hatch your master plan to get out of jail is going to is uh, available. Like there is a ship that is docked that is bringing in supplies and whatnot, and you've managed to make a deal with some guards to uh, have just enough of a window to get into the laundry to get into the laundry room before the shift comes to pick up the laundry and whatnot. But there's also that point where um, you think back to when you first got here. There were several days where you were sure the Hell Knight were coming for you. You thought they were going to turn you over like nobody's business.
Yeah,
But
well,
they
I'm
didn't.
worth a lot of money.
But they didn't.
I know.
Apparently they're very true to their independent status. They kept you because you are a criminal, and they were like, "Yeah, you're a criminal. You're wanted for crimes. Um, you're guilty. We're gonna put you in jail. You're a known criminal, but we're not turning you over to the Hell Knights. They just don't know who to turn you over to other than the Hell Knights." Because it's not like the stewards have a overt presence in the area.
You could turn me over to the pirates. That would be cool. The free captains, I mean. No? Okay, I'll go back to my cell.
You are
Alright,
on the.
I've been waiting for this for so long. I have done so many things that I, as Captain's Eye, I'm like, I really should blow this place up when I leave.
This is Penal Colony Galatac.
Right, they thought they were hard.
And it's in the Sobari system.
For sure it's not the Rurapente colony.
No, it's not the. It's in the Sobari. It's the.
Say if it's the one I'm thinking of, I'm glad I'm not there. That one's hard to escape from. They say it can't be done.
Yeah. But yeah. But you're like the. But yeah, this is the day where there's a. And one of the people you had to make a deal with, and we'll flash back to the scene real quick. There is a point where maybe you're in like the yard, so to speak, and maybe you've just got done making a deal, and there's a really old human, or well, kind of hard to tell how old, but there's an old human, a long white and gray beard and long white and gray hair, and he looks over at you and he says, "So, You're I understand you're it's nice to see at least one other familiar figure, even if it's by a reputation. He says, a fellow member of the Free Captains,
Oh,
Captain Zyvo Veto.
I'm not exactly sure who you are. That is me.
He looks at you and he kind of chuckles. He goes, well, me? Oh, well, what you probably have heard of me, but you don't know it was me. The name's Chunderbucket Charlie.
Yes!
It's the Chunder Bucket.
Dun, dun, dun. I bow.
He says, there's no need to stand on formal ceremony here, boy. We're in a bit of a, well, this is a prison. Not quite the place for bows and scraping and what have you.
Mm.
If you're looking to get out of here, I'd be interested in going with you. Perhaps I could do you a solid in the future. Met one of your former crewmates once. Was going to ask him for the favor of being able to get a meeting with you, but this means to be a bit fortuitous.
Probably not. Okay. Who might that have been?
Oh, a bounty hunter that used to work for you. Haven't
Huh.
heard from him in a long. Android. This is, but it wasn't the point. Wasn't as much interested in him as I was in you. Says, it seems that well, we've been locked up here. The changes, there have been some changes in the free captains. In fact, you take me with you on this escape. We take the ship, and he says, you take me with you on this ship, on the escape. I'll get you a ship.
Your reputation precedes you in a way that makes me say, yes.
Good then. He says, consider it an extended offer of help from your fellows who have decided to move up in the world and the free captains.
Right. Well, this will make quite a story. Either way. And I'll finally get my hard reputation because I've finally been to prison.
Yeah, he's like, it's just like he's like, good then, So we flash forward to the day of the escape, and you can see Chunder Bucket Charlie is sitting not too far away from you. He looks over at you, he's sitting at the next table over, and he gives you like the look of like, you know, of like, I'm ready
Time.
whenever you are. Yeah, it's time. Maybe he's the one who helped you like hook up the connection to be able to get into the laundry room unguarded.
All right. I'm starting a riot, right?
Well, is that your plan then? You're starting the riot and then getting into the laundry room.
Right. Because, everybody will run for it after it starts.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you start this prison riot? What do you do here?
Well, I find it best that since they give everyone a tray, that we just work with that.
Okay.
And as soon as I find it, I take my tray and I.
Whoa.
Oh!
Instant kill
Yeah,
someone
you
on the
fucking
floor,
murdered that.
apparently.
You fucking murder someone with a
So
From 30
carry
feet.
tray.
roll a 1d4 plus your strength damage.
Oh, good. He might live.
Wow, what kind of attack notes are these?
Yeah, I know. He tags everything with an attack note.
By the way,
I
just
forgot how to do that.
Yeah,
I did go with the vampire voice as my necrograft.
nice.
So 6 points of damage.
Yeah, you chuck your tray at somebody, and like you smack like one of the prisoners that like maybe it's somebody you actually worked for roughing somebody up in the past, like somebody who was kind of a dick about it, like smack him back in the head and in the back of the head, and he turns around and looks at you like he turns around to look who threw it, and this is about the time that like Elgas knows the cue. Elgas knows the cue, and he turns around and punches a guy. Let's see what
He's
My
a Vesk,
boy.
right?
He's a
Better than a
Vesk
vest.
Borai.
He's like you.
Oh,
He's been like you before you were like you.
I'm not a
well,
Borai yet. I haven't died.
yeah, he
I just
and
wish
Fine.
I had at this point.
Chunderbucket Charlie trips somebody to make them trip and fall into somebody. Let's see, basic melee attack.
I become
Yeah,
attuned.
yeah. All right. Let's
That's so funny.
see. Yeah, he punches a guy, and this kind of started like after Chunderbucket Charlie trips somebody. Like, how do you exacerbate this situation? You're going attuned, and so far it's just a couple of people who have been assaulted by you. How do you direct this to become a full-on riot?
Ooh.
Hit a guard, hit a guard, hit a guard.
Actually, this might just work. Hang on.
Yeah, because guards are starting to move in to try to break up what's going on.
Riot!
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, do you get up and stand on the table or something to say this, or you just yell it from where you're standing?
I yell it from where I'm standing. They're all probably still kind of looking there because I did just beam somebody out.
Yeah.
Ding!
Yeah, I imagine it's satisfying. Boom,
Yeah.
like right as you hit his head.
This
The
is
one
the
with the-
point. Oh yeah. Boom. Yeah, this is the
Boing.
point where like, you yell riot, and like the pent-up aggression from the prisoners starts to mount, and everybody's shouting. There's a couple of guards trying to break up the fights and whatnot. But you yelling riot just exacerbated the fact is they're like, oh, well, shit. They're trying to break up us fighting, and this is a perfect opportunity to just start punching everybody we can see in sight. So yeah, this whole thing
Yeah.
starts to erupt as people start, throwing
Looks
punches.
like
The
Rock'em
guards are
Sock'em Robot.
yeah, the guards have like their fucking stun guns out trying to shoot people. They've got like their clubs or whatever, billy clubs or whatever, and trying to and this is kind of going haywire for them at this point. Yeah. So what's your next move? The riot is fully started.
Oh, I thought I sniffed. Nope, I didn't. It's time. We leave.
Okay. Yeah. So
That
you're
should be
gonna
decent. I get a +2
sneak out?
for a riot, right?
Sure. And let's do.
Okay, is causing a riot a morally black thing?
No, they're all prisoners and probably might die. It's like not a
All right.
Just so
I
you
get
know,
yelled at for
Captain
bombing an
Zai,
airport.
Yeah,
Captain
now
Zai
that's an
often
actual
walks-
morally black option. Because the prisoners are in an incredibly dangerous situation already.
right? And
Ugh.
technically, all of the guards that are going to get hurt are guards that I wasn't paying off because those guards aren't in the room right now.
So let's see how.
So only the good guys get hurt. It's okay.
Why did that go back to that? God damn it! It keeps switching the name back. I'm trying to.
Oh, I was going to say, who's Gro Walmart?
What?
Who the fuck is that?
It's the character sheet that was supposed to be for this Osharu, but it keeps changing the name back to like the default name. I don't know why.
Oh,
will
Gogaso
not
Lumbar.
Make me.
In other words, yeah.
No, this
Ah!
is my name.
All right, so
You
that
can't tell me who I am.
you can't tell me what my name is. I want grow gobble gobbler glop.
Hey,
Grub,
that's
grub,
exactly what
Dubashum.
it sounded like.
Let's see.
Every time I say that name, Mike dies a little bit.
I love that name.
Yeah, your
Aw.
partners are not very stealthy.
Right, they just make a run for it. It's fine.
you they are stopped by a couple of guards that like get in their way. Like, where do you think you're going? Are
Well,
you?
Never should
I
have
have
come
a
here.
27.
Huh?
I have a 27, so that means I can probably Vulcan neck pinch one of them. Or wait, no, I have 4 arms. I can Vulcan neck pinch 2 of them.
But you're not a Vulcan.
Wait, how about a bull
There's,
rush? Can I bull rush them
that would manage to push them back.
and allow my teammates to get by, and maybe push them into some other people that are fighting? Even can I try to do that?
Do you have the improved combat maneuver for a bull rush?
No, and combat maneuvers are ridiculously hard to do without such things.
Yes, you get the -4. If
I thought it
you
was
want to,
like a
you can try it.
-8.
Well,
Okay,
so go
so
ahead
just
and
a basic attack melee.
yeah, with the -4 and
29 -4 is 25.
and let's see, their KAC. That's probably good enough to bull rush one of them out of the way.
Right, go you fools.
And I think Elgas, you know what? He doesn't need to punch people. He can use his claws.
He has claws, yeah.
Um,
Ooh.
Oh, Elgas.
yeah,
My
he.
boy.
Just bit someone's throat out.
Well, he just
No,
clawed.
claw.
Yeah, like as soon as you like push the other guy into the wall or whatever, the Elgas opens up with a claw and opens opens up the other guy. You guys will have an opportunity to get by these two at this point.
Everyone go.
Okay, yeah. Are you going to try to sneak out through the laundry, or are you going to go straight to the landing pad?
Wait, don't we have an opportunity to sneak out through the laundry, and that's what this was all supposed to cost?
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean, I just need to
Okay,
know which one you're doing.
No, it's just yes, we're going to the laundry room.
Okay, yeah, you're all right. Yeah, so maybe we get like you get to the laundry room and you see like the baskets are like the big carts for laundry and stuff, and
Right.
several like lots of linen and lots of like towels and stuff.
Very
Towels and sheets.
80s, but we like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, well, it's colony orders.
In the
So-
80s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do what we're supposed to.
All right. Yeah. So maybe we get that scene
we
where
get in
like,
their skin of our teeth because they rolled so badly.
yeah, you manage to get into like the laundry, like the laundry, carts and whatnot. A couple of guards come in, or a couple of guys come in that are
Right,
meant to
they're
pick
guys
this
we
up, and
paid
they,
off.
yeah, they're guys that you paid off, and they look around and like, it's time, and they grab the carts and start rolling you guys manage to get loaded onto the shuttle and what have you. And the two guards that you paid off, like they distract the flight crew for the shuttle. Captain, are you gonna?
Yeah. So what you're saying is we're flying the ship. I thought we were going to like kidnap them and drop them off somewhere. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. All right. Everybody to your stations. We've discussed this. Just kidding.
All right.
Does anyone fly better than I do?
You might be the best pilot here. Let's
Cool.
see. Elgas gets a +11 in piloting. He's not a bad pilot.
Right, but he's
He's actually
also
pretty good.
well. Now I'm a better mechanic than he is, though.
Yeah.
Oh no, not mechanic. I'm better at engineering. Okay. I'm sorry, Sleth. I didn't mean it. So I'll just fly.
Okay. All right.
That looks good enough.
Yeah. You managed to get off the planet and get past like get out into the system. And Chunder Bucket Charlie is like, he's like, right then. He says, I've got coordinates for us to go pick up a ship for you, an extra ship for you. There'll be a couple of them there. I'm taking one of them. This we're gonna want to get rid of. Too much attention. They'll be tracking it soon enough. And he hands you like he feeds coordinates into the computer for you, of like where like his meetup point is for to get a ship.
Right. And then I reach down and I remove the tracking unit, and then we put it out the airlock. That should make it take longer.
And he's like, yeah, that won't be the only one they've got on. He says,
Oh no, I know. I'm a wanted person.
yeah, he's, he says, indeed you are. And he kind of like takes the moment to, and Glycil for his part is sulking in the back of the shuttle. And Glycil's story is that he was one of the, he's a biogeneticist. He's a biotechnician. That's what he does. In fact,
and we needed one of those.
In fact, he was actually also part of the team that under Slef that ran tests on Ashira and Ezzy. So you'd seen him before. Like maybe you caught him on the way out, confused and holding his partner who was possibly dead. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It was very sad.
Yes. And he's like,
you don't have time for this. Come on.
Yeah. He's back. You get and you also get as maybe we get a little bit of we jump forward a little bit in time where there's been you've been in space for a little bit, and the 6 months in prison. It feels good to you to be out among the stars again.
Right. I keep turning the gravity off and just being weightless for a little while.
But it's
Just
some
keep
point...
saying you can't take the stars from me.
Right. I sing a song that no one else knows on the ship.
Yeah.
It's Kasath, and it's very old.
You can't take the stars from us. It's all we have left.
We built our own planet.
Yeah, I think. I'm trying to think. I had something that Charlie was gonna say. And Charlie, he's had some augmentation. I'm not gonna get into what yet. He's probably covered. You've probably seen him. You've been in prison
My maturity
together.
just dipped.
Right?
Low.
No, it's great.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm so sorry. It was an involuntary giggle.
Yeah.
You're awesome. Just giggle.
It's man.
Nice. And let's see. He's like, you're gonna want to. He says, you're going to want to lay low for a while. But from what I've heard, not everyone on your crew made it out of the shadow of.
With all respect, sir, I'm well aware of at least one partial loss, and before this goes down, I aim to kill that man and take back my elf.
He's like, I can understand that. He says, but mightn't be you might want to look into another rumor.
Ooh, what's that?
You see, I've been hearing that one Rex Tolak is still operational around these parts. I also hear that he was dead, and I hear a lot of things. Not all of them I put stock in, but I've a bit of a suspicion about this one. And if I'm not mistaken, you and yours were asking around about him some time ago. It would
Yeah,
make
we
sense.
definitely killed one Rex Toloff, but we were pretty sure it wasn't the right one after the fact.
It stands to reason to me that if you were looking into Rex Tolak before, perhaps the rest of your crew might be looking into him now.
Yeah, I think he might have the cure to space AIDS.
Oh, he is space AIDS.
It's a little late for that.
No, it's okay. He's the patient zero. If we get him, then we can find the cure, and then we can
There's no
kill
cure
your
for
soul.
dead.
Yes, there is.
I'm dead.
No,
she's dead.
You're not.
She's dead, Jim.
And
Suck
neither
it
is
up.
Izzy, and
Aurora
I'm not even there yet.
Fern has been replaced. It's done.
He's,
Ooh.
yeah, he says, "Oh, and I've got someone special for you to meet. Someone
Right.
that's a bit right up your alley.
Uh-oh.
You ever hear of a person called Neverwhere?"
Sort of. I chose to do other things rather than find that guy.
Well, you're gonna be meeting him sooner than you expected then. We're going for Rock 242, otherwise known as Rags. That's
I
where
am
the
Always
coordinates are leading us, and that's where you'll be getting your ship.
Well,
Well, a ship,
That-
until you can find your own ship.
right. That will make it interesting because from what I hear, he's got some pretty crazy taste in art.
He says, yeah, not sure about his choice in music, but, yeah,
Oh,
well, he says, not sure about, and he kind of chuckles when he says that, almost like there's some sort of inside joke. And
right. There completely is. I'm like, as he grows on you over time, and honestly, out of all the albums we had, that was the best one.
As
Do
he
I
grows
think
on
it's
you
something
over
to get behind?
time. Now he just starts, out and out being a terrorist.
Well, the nobles did think Robin Hood was a terrorist.
Robin Hood
right.
didn't kill plenty of like innocent people. To get
Yeah,
back at
Robin
the
Hood
nobles.
didn't bomb Canary Wharf.
No. He
All
did.
right.
Like Maid Marian wasn't an innocent casualty.
Really, if it becomes too much, Nahir and Rek will like shoot you. They have orders. They have the same orders for me. Don't feel bad.
Yeah.
If that goes completely crazy, kill him. We'll take a piece of his brain back to the ship. It'll be fine.
Yeah. And Drea, let me see. What else do I need to touch upon before you call it? Because I've
There
got
are
only
two
a
new
few more
girls
minutes.
coming aboard. Try.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was responding to text.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, and I think maybe I think maybe our final shot here, we're gonna get like a final shot at like where the screen does that thing where it's got like a split in like a fan where it's got like different cells with different things in it, and we've got one that's got like the ship carrying Slef on it. We see one of them with Slef looking out the window of like a shuttlecraft, and we see and in the next little wedge we see a picture of the Strix shuttle that is going in for a landing down on Glumpucket, and then we do another one with the Fire Shrike. We see with the Fire Shrike just sort of floating in space with Nahir and Nurks talking, but we don't hear the words going on. Then we get like the Spitfire with Tavis and Ezzy and Rogo and Qualu. And in the final panel over, we get Captain Volvetto with Elgist and Glycel that are in the ship that they've managed to hijack. And all of you are pretty much going in different places at this point, with the exception of like Ezzy and Slav, who seem to be headed in the same direction. But and I think that's going to be like our final shot as we pull out here, with everybody sort of like separated, spread out, and heading off in different directions, trying to investigate different things and find each other. And we're going to go ahead and say that is what we have for tonight. So why don't everybody start mailing me your Player's Choice Awards?
Why doesn't?
and yeah,
He's like, shut the fuck
and we will go ahead and get started with sign-offs then. Why don't we start with? Let's start with Tavis.
Can I get like a little scene real quick? As we just
Sure.
sort
Let's.
of. Yeah, it's just him walking to his room before we would take off, and his room is an absolute mess. It is completely unorganized. All sense of organization is gone. That's where he takes like everything outside his room is all professional and clean, but when he gets in, he's just lost all sense of caring about it.
Right,
Anyway,
goofy guy from Beverly Hills Cop. I get it.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, not a reference you would get. I'm sorry.
I am SassyMcNasty. I play Tavis, the diplomat slash, well, still diplomat, but everything else now. And yeah, it's interesting. 6 months have passed, and he's been trying to hold the crew together as best as he can, using Melanie as a bomb has been defused. Like go 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 go.
Enemy spotted.
And on Tuesdays, you can catch me as Susano, the ranger with a snake, who, I guess we're about to go fight some night hags.
And the Annis hag.
And Thursdays, you can catch me as Johan, the rogue with no sense of material value and instead collects stories as his main pastime. And Saturdays, there's so many different Saturdays. Flesh and Fire, I'm Harbinger, the Brainer. For Legacy Wrestling, I am Bear, the Boulder Breaker. And then my own campaign, Spark of Fate, went off really, really well. I was super happy, and I can't wait to do another session. You guys were all amazing, so yeah, I think that's everything.
All right, James, why don't you go next? And Zai, I need your vote.
Hey,
Oh,
can I actually go next?
Yeah. Send
Yeah,
it his
sure.
way.
Yeah, cool. Hi, everybody. My name is Michael. Snow. Background noise. While I party going, it's only gonna
You're cutting out super hard, boy.
Goodness gracious. Let me look at my. Okay, cool. How's that?
Good.
Gary.
Okay,
Go.
so thank you for having me tonight, folks. I don't know why I said that. You can catch me on Monday nights where I get to play Slef, the lovable rat man who's been having a lot of issues lately, but he seems to have a purpose and a goal. Hi. You can also catch me on Tuesdays where I get to play Tiff to Libre, the little cinnamon bun who's not going to be there tomorrow, and I need to talk to James about that. You can also catch me on Thursdays where I run Legacy of Stramdex, which is my new baby of a campaign, and I'm very excited for it. Next week, we're going to be getting into some more city stuff and the meat of the initial plot hook. On Saturdays, you can catch me in all four of the games, technically. You can catch me on Justice Grab Bag on both of those games. You can catch me on Black Box Theater whenever we're doing that. You can also catch me on Spark of Fate, where I play Ika, the new fun frogman, new and improved mascot character that I can't help but break away and play mascot characters. It sucks. It's a curse. I need to play a background character one of these days. But whatever the case, you can also catch me on SoundCloud. I am making music, and I just made some music for the channel. By the way, everybody in the channel should probably check that out because I'm very excited about it. On SoundCloud /thathoon. That is SoundCloud /thathoon, all caps, THATHOON. And that's me.
Awesome. All right. Let's go on to James.
Hi ho, friendo. Oh, actually, I'm gonna do a quick scene too because because
I started
Tavis gave me some, but it's just a real quick one. It's as they're flying, we see like the planet, and we get that classic scene of the ship flies from behind the camera, and we see it like banking with the planet's curve as it goes into the atmosphere. And inside, as he hits a few buttons on the piloting console to like, I'm sure that they get like a landing solution from wherever they're going that basically is like, hey, punch this into your autopilot and it'll take the ship down safely. And he just leans back, and that's when we notice that he's been wearing a pair of dog tags that do not say his name on them. The camera zooms in and they say Jaren Andival, and then it says Absalom Station Security, and then we'll cut.
Awesome. Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like, dude.
Sorry about that.
Jesus.
You just kind of were like, here's this scene.
Damn it.
Now,
Then I
let
stared
somebody else
off into
tell you.
space for a
Yeah.
little bit because I'm tired. Hi ho, friendolas. My name is James, also known as Knightheart, and you can catch me here on Mondays where I get to play as Lee Soraval, the C-pop star with the heart of gold, who is, I guess I can't say that anymore, the domestic terrorist with a heart as black as, well, it is a black heart, actually, because necrographs and all that fun jazz.
Yeah, once I get back, I can fix you.
Actually, yeah, his heart is cybernetic, but he does have black lungs. Anyway, don't do cybernetics, kids. You can also catch me on Tuesday where I am DMing Realms of Refuge, where, yes, the party has been in contact with the king of all Fae, the greatest of the Archfae, to release them from a bunch of hags. So there's going to be all sorts of tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Big combat. And also some plot developments. And you can also find me here on Thursdays where it's my turn to play the mascot character with Seifel, the Tibbet, who is still asking the question from last combat of who the hell stabs a cat.
Who the hell puts their party members into a stunning stance for 10
Hey,
turns?
shut up. You are in the way. Don't get in front of the spellcaster and nothing bad will
Spoken
happen.
like a true domestic terrorist.
You are in my way.
Oh my
fleshly.
god.
But anyway, you're all just food for the blood lily anyway.
Lily.
You can also find me here sometimes on Saturdays. I am in one of Jesta's grab bags where I play Knowing, the hard holder in Flesh and Fire. I am not part of Legion Wrestling. I am in Spark of Fate where I play Marin Farcaller, the sorcerer with the lovable little Fae bat, Zam Zam. And occasionally whenever we have one-shots, thinking of maybe doing a one-shot set in Pathfinder 2.0 because that system looks really good. But yeah, that's me.
Hey,
All
Mike.
right. Awesome. So let's kick this one along to, well, the captain, Captain Zai.
Hi, I'm Captain Zai. On Monday nights, I play a 6'4" Kasathan. That means I got 4 arms and I look kind of like Oro. This is my favorite day of the week. Even when the DM does stuff that I'm like, and what else? Sometimes I play a transvestite biker in the Jester's grab bag thing. She's pretty cool. Everybody loves Mama. And I will also be playing the Sarasota Kid in his other thing. He does lots of stuff.
Mhm.
But my friend Purple Codex sells t-shirts at tpublic.com, and they are awesome t-shirts. Go ahead, James. James, come back. Where are you?
Oh, I'm staring off into space again. I was actually listening to this fantabulous interlude that someone made.
Thank you.
Purple Codex merchandise. Epically made, not ethically made.
Oh, and tonight's episode was brought to you by Boards, Booze, and Bitches, because even when Zai is in prison, they still serve food. It's worth dying over. On to Purple Codex.
Holy hell.
Yep.
Every damn time. Okay. I'm Purple Codex, formerly?
Yeah, that's right.
Can't English.
Working hard.
Community art. That's like our tagline at this point. Yeah, formerly played Ashira, now Drea, the mystery woman who nobody quite can figure out yet, but all in good time. I don't have any announcements. This week. Wow. I have
Oh
nothing.
my god.
I have
Wow.
nothing.
Holy shit.
I know, I'm sorry. Fail. It's
Uh,
been an easy week, man.
right on. So do we get everybody? Brian.
There you go. You remembered me.
I did. I was like, I'm looking at the icons.
At the
I'm like,
last minute.
I know I missed somebody. Who was it? Oh, it's. Go for it.
So yes, I'm Brian. I now play Lizin, a Strix soldier that is looking at the mysterious lady going, mask. Very bad attitude.
It's an elf.
She has an
Who must
idea.
be an elf?
Must be an elf. That's bad
I'm
attitude.
telling you, she's playing
Pretty
Ashira's
much.
twin.
That could be fun. But yeah, you can also find me on Tuesdays playing Sakura, the fun-loving, boomerang-wielding, pink-haired halfling, and on Thursdays, Hadra, the Jenny that, let's just say, sees laws differently because of where she comes and not like other people. So yeah, it's the poor paladin. He's gonna have some moral dilemmas for a while. And occasionally the any one shot that I can make it to. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Awesome. That does bring it back to me.
Yay!
Tonight, everybody gets 500 XP, and Ezzy and Slef get to split the difference and get 250 extra each. You guys tied on Fire's Choice for this week.
So I get 750. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So,
You are all just feeding me more.
yeah, indeed, we are. Because we like watching craziness abound. With that said, hi, I am Zaraht the Jesta King. You can catch me here on Monday nights, both here on pairodicetheater and on Purple Codex as we co-stream this for Monday Night Fire Shrike, my favorite band of space pirates who are scattered all over the place right now, and I'm going to have all kinds of fun playing with this. I love most DMs hate it when you split the party. I'm doing it on purpose because I'm different, guys. I'm weird like that because I thought it would be fun. But the
He's not like the other DM.
no, not at
He's
Um,
cool.
I don't know if that's cool.
all. But you can also catch me here on Tuesday night where I do a Drunken Bird style with the Kinku Drunken Masters, Pitiful. You can also catch me here for just as grab bag for a couple of different things. I rotate around what I'm doing. This coming Saturday, we are going to be doing Legion Championship Wrestling. So if you want to see us get super meta and play characters who are playing characters, that would be, and it's going to be all kinds of fun as we play with this system that we don't have a ton of experience with, but it's fun, it's exciting, it's new. It's like having sex for the third time.
Third
Above and
time?
beyond.
What the fucking random is
Oh, yeah.
that?
I know.
What the hell?
What?
I have to make you guys stop for a second every now and again.
What happened the
Um,
first two times?
I'm assuming you were drunk the
Was
first
that
few
your
times.
peak and then everything was downhill? What the fuck?
Can we just stop?
Premature explosions?
Games initially can't take much more. Calm
Well,
down.
most people say it's new, it's exciting, you don't really know what it's doing
Enough.
first time, but I wanted to be random with it.
Let's get off the screen first.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yikes.
All right, so
Hey,
let's-
if we don't derail the conversation,
Oh my
we don't
goodness.
get derailed. You can also catch me on other Saturday nights when the grab bag is not going on for Spark of Fate, where I am playing an orc barbarian by the name of Grunum Gutfisher, and Grunum the Gutfisher, and there is a story behind that we haven't gotten to yet. Aside from that, I'm on and off doing various projects around here. I have been very busy and very active on the channel lately, or at least I've been trying to be, and I'll try to continue that trend for a while longer yet. Oh yeah, and you can also catch me on my other channel, Zaraht, where I play video games. I've been trying to get back to playing Heavy Rain, but I'm so active here that it's just last week has been crazy trying to be organized. But I will get back to it. You will be able to catch me like playing this insane game about insane stuff. I think that's about all I have for right now. So why don't we get in RIP Fern and get out of here?
Yeah. R.I.P.
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 Fern!